Today you'll watch All-Star guard Doug Collins lead the Philadelphia 76ers. And a new star for the Boston Celtics leads the way. Cedric Maxwell led an upset of Philadelphia last night for the Celtics.
The NBA on CBS. Today's game is sponsored by Pepsi-Cola and your local Pepsi-Cola bottler. Have a Pepsi Day. Chevrolet and Chevrolet dealers coast to coast. And by the Navy. It's not just a job, it's an adventure.
Good afternoon from Boston Garden, the home of the Celtics and the NBA championship banners that hang on high. Hello, everyone. I'm Don Crickey. This is John Havlicek, the Celtic All-Pro. Now retired, now we're very happy to say with CBS. The Celtics are coming off their two best wins of the season. Friday night over Milwaukee here at Boston Garden. Last night, John, at Philadelphia.
Well, I think that in talking with Dave Cowens, he said we've been in a period of transition all year, and hopefully they can maintain the pace that they're going.
Well, the Celtics have taken in a lot of new people. They've made some player transitions trying to solidify their lineup. One of the new guys is Rick Roby. The young man from Kentucky led that team to a national championship last spring. John talked with him a moment ago.
I tell you, it's just great to be here. There's so much tradition, and I was from Kentucky with a lot of tradition in college, and I just hope that I can help this team as far as rebounding and being a big forward and coming in and backing up the center, and it's just a pleasure to be here and pleasure to be a part of a fine program like this.
John, the Celtics have had their problems the first half of the season. I think with these two wins, though, the team, as you can really notice, picked up by it all.
I think they have a lot of enthusiasm now, and they seem to be going to the youth movement, and this is something that I feel is definitely going to help them. If not this year, then they're on their way next year.
And another guy who the Celtics will have to stop is the big man for the 76ers, Darryl Dawkins, Big Daddy Dawkins. He has come on, never playing college ball, to be close to All-Pro.
Well, Billy Cunningham and the rest of the coaches, Chuck Daly, Jack and Manny, all pushing me pretty hard. So when I get in the game, I'm just working as hard as I can, getting up and down the court and trying to get in good position for rebounds and to block shots. I'm learning more and more about the game as the season goes on. And my jump shot is falling for me. I'm getting a few dunks, finger rolls. It's all working out for me.
Yeah, what do you call your favorite dunk?
Spine Chiller Supreme.
Right.
It's my favorite one.
And there is Billy Cunningham and his 76ers starting lineup. Julius Erving and Bobby Jones at the forwards. Caldwell Jones starts at center. Maurice Cheeks, a rookie who's played very well for the 76ers in the back line, along with Doug Collins, the All-Pro. Darryl Dawkins has really come on defensively. He could always do it from his first year as an offensive player, but he's been clogging up the middle, and 76ers think they've really got something there.
Well, last night he blocked a number of shots, and I think that the more Darryl plays, the more he's going to improve. But now he's at the point now where he's just going to add strength to his game.
And Dave Cowens, the player coach of the Celtics, leads their starting five out there with him. Cedric Maxwell had 29 last night as the Celtics beat the 76ers 108-102 at Philadelphia. Curtis Rowe in the front line with him. In the backcourt, Chris Ford, the former Villanova player out of the Detroit Pistons, his last team before coming to Boston, and JoJo White. Tap control by Caldwell Jones, and here's Julius Erving leading the 76ers on offense. And Collins can't handle a pass inside court, and so the Boston Celtics get it for the first time.
There's a slippery spot down at the end of that floor, and they may have some problems with it during the course of the game.
I think they are, John. They've got people mopping up. Might be a very heavy rains here in Boston for an entire day. Sailors come out and pop it right away, and they go out in front 2-0. Ford hits the bucket.
Chris has been shooting very well from the outside, and that time he had a wide-open jumper.
Now the Celtics looking to run. Here is Maxwell, a 6'8", who, as you can see, can bring it up like a guard. Out to Cowens. Tries to knock it down from way out. And Curtis Rowe out of UCLA, working hard, gets the follow-up shot on a second try, and the Celtics move out in front 4-0.
Curtis Rowe probably had his best game of the season last night, and if he continues to play like that, he has to be a help to the Celtics.
He's taken some knocks, but he's a good, hard-working player.
Curtis is really a great worker.
Bobby Jones, the All-American from North Carolina, came in the McGinnis trade. Can't get it to go, and here comes Curtis Rowe looking to go to the basket and takes it right on through. Not enough there, and Caldwell Jones rebounds for the Sixers.
I think a lot of times the coaches would like to see the man in the middle stop at the free throw line to pick out an open man if possible.
Julius Irving, not quite enough on the bank shot. Here again is Maxwell leading the break. On the left flank it goes to JoJo White, pulling up. White can't get it through, and again Caldwell Jones clears the defensive boards, and we've got a track meet early in the game. Maurice Cheeks, a 6'1" rookie out of West Texas State, feeds up to Bobby Jones going to the basket. A foul call on Boston.
Real good move by Bobby Jones that time. He has the ability to go either way. Here you see him going left, putting up the left-hand shot. Pretty good control, and gets fouled.
Jones is a guy who is all-pro quality and yet is content to score 8-10 points a game. He looks at the big number, the winning number.
That's right. He's an invaluable person on that club, and this is what they traded for, a person who could give them that real good defense, and consistently he does it every night.
A lot of people think he's, if not the best, certainly one of the 2 or 3 best defensive forwards in the league.
I've played against him a lot, and I think right now he's the best defensive player in the league.
Pretty good accolade. John Havlicek says Bobby Jones the best defensive player in the NBA. Now the loop down low to Maxwell, and here's a whistle underneath. Richie Powers and his crew working the game.
The Celtics have tried to get the ball into Maxwell low, particularly most of the time, because he has such unnatural moves in there. He's been going to the free throw line a great deal, and they want to get him into foul trouble early if they can.
Bobby Jones, not enough there, but Caldwell Jones, who's getting a lot of rebounds in the first quarter, feeds it out to Julius Irving, and he can't get it down, and the rebound is taken by Collins. Here comes Chris Ford on the fast break, filling the right lane. Maxwell is down low, but Maurice Cheeks, small as he is, cut him off from the basketball, but Curtis Rowe gets free and gets it over the defense of 7-foot Caldwell Jones, and Billy Cunningham wants to talk this over now, as the Celtics have come out quickly to take a 6-2 lead. John?
Here we have a good pass from Curtis Rowe, or from Chris Ford into Curtis Rowe, and actually almost got that one blocked because he put it on the floor. Had he put it right out, he would have had a much easier basket.
Thank you very much. Okay. That is the rain problem we have in Boston. It's been raining all day since last night. It's going to rain all day today and all night. And it's starting to come through the Boston Garden roof here, John.
Well, this is an old building, so I'm sure there are going to be a few leaks every now and then, but this is really a torrential downpour in Boston, one of the worst I've seen.
Maurice Cheeks shut off for the baseline of the court by Chris Ford. Down low to Bobby Jones, moving on Curtis Rowe, and we lost another guy on that wet floor, and that's not going to be the last one, John. You cut that baseline.
No, they're going to have to probably try and get a few more ball boys down there with some towels, because it is very dangerous. Here you see Bobby Jones coming back to the baseline, and that's where it's wet.
Get a guy go out with a broken arm or something. Bill Cunningham is up protesting, and nobody likes it. I guess there's nothing they can do about it at this point. Richie Powers wants to talk it over. So we have a pause in the action with 9:21 left to play in the first period here at Boston Garden. The Celtics moving out quickly with a running game and good rebounding. Have taken a 6-2 lead. There's the president of the Celtics, old Red on Roundball himself.
Yes, old Red. He'll try and get it straightened out. He'll put someone up there in the ceiling with a towel to keep it from coming down on the floor if he can.
Bill Cunningham is threatening to take his team off the floor, feeling his players are endangered. I don't think Red disagrees with him.
Well, it's very treacherous to have a situation like that, because everyone's moving at such a high rate of speed, and someone can get hurt.
Got to get a guy up in the catwalk up there with a bucket.
Definitely.
Catch it before it gets her. Maurice Cheeks trying to go down low. Can't get there. Called for a travel, and the ball goes back over to the Boston Celtics. JoJo White, who's had his problems with the front office, now starting to get moving as a Boston Celtic once again in his 10th season with the Celtics. Here's Cowens out hustling Caldwell Jones to get the rebound. Celtics working plays down low. Here comes Cowens. He wants to hook it up on Caldwell Jones. Jones got a piece of the ball, but Chris Ford again comes inside court to take the loose ball. Julius Irving hacking at the ball. 76ers switching off. Almost his own.
JoJo had a meeting this past week with Red and Dave, and hopefully his problems are all worked out.
The doctor comes down and pops it from the corner, and is now An 8-4 game. The Celtics by 4 as Maxwell takes it low, gives to Rowe. He gets a free one, partially deflected by Bobby Jones. Here come the 76ers. Cheeks fills the middle. Collins on the right flank. And Cheeks takes it right through. Irving tries to follow, and Maxwell rebounds for the Celtics. Loop to JoJo White. Big play by Curtis Rowe as he followed the shot but couldn't get it to go down. And again, the 76ers come back the other way running with the ball.
You'd never know that these teams played 3 games in 48 hours. Here we have Maurice Cheeks coming down the floor, giving it to Doug Collins. Doug charges Dave Cowens, who had already established position.
Dave Cowens takes a look low and goes back out to Curtis Rowe. Cowens picking in the middle, clogging things up. Celtics trying to break off him. Here comes Ford. Good assist out to Maxwell, and again, Curtis Rowe, John, is really getting position.
Curtis Rowe was one of the toughest players I had in the league to box out, and I always tried to match up with the other forward. He has an uncanny ability to get in there, and here you have Maxwell taking the outside shot and Rowe in perfect position for an easy basket.
Bobby Jones shoots up on Cowens, and the big guy for Boston takes the defensive board and kicks it out to JoJo White. Aaron pass, who was tipped away by Cheeks, gets it back, and here comes Maurice Cheeks. He's got one speed, flat out. He really gets the 76ers moving. Cunningham, his coach, says he really makes it happen. They know the team is going to move fast. People are going to get the ball. He'll keep it up.
Great pass by Julius Erving. He had the penetration. Jones cutting across the middle. Defense lost their concentration. He got another easy basket.
And Bobby Jones now has 4 points. A 10-6 game Boston. Celtics, John, working a lot of stuff down low and getting people free in there.
Well, they're trying to get Dave down as low as possible because they feel with him down there they might be able to draw some fouls, and this is where Dave has an extra added strength advantage, I think. Okay, here we have Julius Erving on the feed inside to Bobby Jones. Good play.
John, have the Celtics changed much their style of play since Dave took over as player coach?
Well, I don't think they've really changed that much. I think they're trying to run a little more because this is where they basically try and get the game going. So it's something that they haven't been able to do as consistently because they end up with 3 big forwards at times in the game along with Dave or a situation like that. They really do not have the quick forward. Judkins, they feel, may fill this role at some point.
Through the first 43 games or so, they've had about 14 different starting lineups. It looks like they might solidify a little now.
Well, I think so, and they're coming down to the end of the trading period February 1st, so they're going to have to stay pat with what they have within the next couple of weeks.
They won't have Rick Roby today, who we heard from earlier. He's out with a sprained ankle suffered last night. Doug Collins drills it from the corner, and it's now a 3-point game, Boston, 11-8. Chris Ford pulling up. Very nicely done by Ford, and it's 13-8 Boston. Ford has now put in 5 points for the Celtics.
Chris has been one of the steadiest Celtics this year. I mean, he's given them a lot of composure, and he's just a good all-around pro.
Not quite enough there for Doug Collins. Again, Curtis Rowe has position. This time of the defensive end gets the rebound. Lead from Ford to White, back to Chris Ford. And Caldwell Jones takes down his 5th rebound of the first period. Lead to Julius Erving. Feed Bobby Jones. And a whistle from Richie Powers. Mike Mathis and Ralph Lembo working the game with Richie Powers.
Here we have Julius Erving coming down the center. Great body control on a cross lane feed to Bobby Jones, who puts it up left-handed. He's pretty ambidextrous in there.
Yeah, they claim he's one of the few guys, at least in about 10 feet in, shoots about equally well with both hands.
He and Paul Westphal, I think, are the best in the league at that.
Jones with the free throws. It's now 13-10 Boston, and Bobby Jones has 6 points in the first period. NBA basketball on CBS from Boston Garden. The Celtics and the 76ers, Boston in the white uniforms with Dave Cowens, their player coach, working the high post. People weaving off, 76ers fighting them off. Nothing open side. Now Maxwell gets free, blocks out with his body, takes away the defense and lays it in.
Maxwell has great hands, and that wasn't the best pass in the world, but anytime you get it near him, he seems to come up with it and uses that body extremely well.
Again, Irving gets free off the baseline of the court and drills it.
Okay, here we have the last play where Dave Cowens feeds it into Maxwell, who used his body, good control, easy basket.
15-12. The Celtics by 3 points. They have the ball. Curtis Rowe, they're doubling up on Cowens down low. That's where Boston's working their plays. They'll give the Celtics the outside shot. 76ers come down the rebound. And Collins at 6'6", bringing the ball up. Doug Collins driving the lane, feeding to Caldwell Jones. Not a shooter, but the tip-in goes for Bobby Jones. He's got 8.
Maxwell having a little problem with Bobby Jones. He's getting in low and getting those easy tip-ins, and that's what the coaches really don't like to see. Box your man out before you go for it.
We have 4:10 play in the first period. The ball comes back into the Boston Celtics. Marvin Barnes into the ball game for the first time this afternoon for Boston. He's been erratic, but when he plays well, the Celtics win.
This year, every time he scored 16 points or more, I think they've won every game, so that when Marvin's playing, they're much more effective.
Yeah, Boston is a whole lot better team, John, than a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, they are, and they've made a lot of moves in the last week.
Celtics leading by 3, 17-14. As Collins again leads off to Caldwell Jones. Marvin Barnes with good hands takes it away, leads to 4. A lead pass to Maxwell, too much on it. Here's a guy that's done a big job for Philadelphia all season long, Henry Bibby.
We have Chris Ford penetrating, putting it up. Dave Cowens in position, keeping the man on his back. Easy tip in.
It's a big job. Cheeks coming in and running the offense as a rookie. Got Archibald in the game now also for Boston. Henry Bibby takes the long one. Marvin Barnes rips it off. Marvin wants to get after it. He'll eat it up.
Marvin can definitely be a big factor in this game if he's going to be playing well.
Cowens cruising outside. Caldwell Jones is laying off that inside move to try to get the defensive board, and Cowens gets the free shot, gives the Celtics a 5-point lead, 19-14. There are the men who work the bench. Bobby McKinnon up shouting out to the Celtics. He calls things from the sideline while Collins is in the game, which is most of the time. Of course, K.C. Jones, the great Celtic backcourt player, the other assistant coach. Archibald.
The Celtics are running probably as well as I've seen them run this year, and that time Philadelphia got buried underneath the basket and there was an easy outlet.
Archibald taking it through. Now Julius Irving is starting to get his shot. He's drilled 3 field goals from that side.
Here we have the fast break. Lead pass to Archibald going in, shooting right-handed. Real good control.
Now back to live action. They have Chris Ford down low against Cheeks. He's got a height advantage, but it's to no avail as Cheeks takes the ball away, but they might call him on it. He hooked Ford. So right now we have a timeout on the floor with 2:21 to play in the first period. The Boston Celtics run well in the lead by 5. There's Big Daddy Darryl Dawkins. He is now in the basketball game, loosening up just before he came in. Dawkins out of Orlando, Florida, right out of high school. Bill Cunningham looking on. Just he stops the middle for us. He jams it up. Collins puts him up with a head fake, though, and there's a foul call. And don't forget, coming up Sunday, February 4th, the NBA All-Star Game from Pontiac, Michigan. At the Silverdome, the best in the East against the best in the West, 1:45 Eastern Time. You've been there a few times, John.
Yes, it's a great honor to play in that game, and I think that most of the people there, once they get there, really want to put on a good show.
When Dave Cowens took over as player coach of the Celtics, they had a record of 2-12. Since then, they are 14-15 under Cowens, having won their last 2. Takes another one. So the big guy goes 0 for 3. Here's Dawkins. He can go to the moon when he goes in the air. Feeds off to Jones-O. Dawkins will spring up in the air and shoot over anybody. Like that.
He's shooting with a great deal of confidence. I watched the game last night, and he played very well.
the second field goal. It's a 24-18 game, Boston. Cheeks and Bibby in the backcourt. A lot of quickness down there as they go to the high post. Dawkins, he grabs that thing like a softball. Marvin Barnes with another rebound, and a quick outlet goes to Maxwell. But the 76ers are back nicely to cordon off the flanks and stop the break. Jones to Bibby, eludes Chris Ford. Joe gets it, tipped away from Irving, but he picks it up, and Julius Irving puts it in the air, and Irving went for a foul.
That scramble looked like one of the games in the playoffs last week with Pittsburgh and Houston.
Starts to sound. Moving on down and salute to Marvin Barnes. When he tips the ball away this time, but it's Bibby whose quick hands get it for the 76ers. And the doctor cruises right on in.
When the doctor gets that close, it's very difficult to stop him. Here we have Bibby. Archibald falls down, dishes it off to Julius for a left-handed layup.
Julius now has 8 points. The Celtics with a 6-point lead. 14 seconds to play in the first period. Maxwell gets through, gets the basket, draws the foul. 14 still under the limit.
It was an excellent pass by Archibald. He kept his head up. They were going for one shot, and he was able to see Maxwell underneath. And Max has been shooting extremely well from the free throw line. I think he's made something like 54 of his last 57 shots.
Now they punch it up. That is the 15th foul of the period against the 76ers. Maxwell gets it on the first try, so with 9 seconds to go and the clock winding down in the first period, the Celtics extend their lead to 9 points, biggest of the game. Julius Irving.
Fantastic play by Julius. What a pleasure it is to see him play.
Only great. So the first period ends, and the Boston Celtics open up a 7-point lead, 29-22. Boston with balanced scoring. They got 5 from Maxwell, 5 from Cowens, 5 from Ford, 6 from Rowe. We'll be back in a moment. The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Basketball Association. Don Crickey with John Havlicek, Boston Garden. We open now the second period. As Judkins comes in the game, you see them mopping up some water problems they're having on the court. Leak in the roof, heavy rains in Boston. Here is Judkins out of Utah, first-year player feeding off to Cowens. Marvin Barnes using a lot of arms down low against Julius Irving, looking for the basketball. Cowens comes out, fires away. A whistle, a loose ball foul on the rebound. They get Barnes for pushing John.
That time he was in a battle with Julius underneath, and Dave's been taking that shot a lot. They've been giving it to him. He hasn't been shooting well particularly.
Julius Irving hit 5 of 8 shots in the first period. Leads all scorers with 10. They're giving him the outside shot, and he's been getting it down. Here's Maxwell rebounding. Look at Dawkins come from off the play. Out to Cowens, and Dave Cowens pulling up. He's not hitting. Cowens taking a lot of shots, not getting much to go. Ralph Simpson bringing the ball up court for the 76ers. Takes a baseline. And Simpson right on through. And the 76ers are now back to within 5. It is 29-24.
Billy Cunningham has been very impressed with Ralph Simpson lately. He's been shooting very well, and he seems to have a great deal of confidence. We also have Joe Bryan in there, who's doing his thing.
This time they're going to get Joe Bryant for fouling Marvin Barnes.
We have Dave Cowens outside looking for someone inside, and Joe Bryan hooks up with Marvin Barnes for a foul.
The first on Bryant. That's how the scoring breaks down in the game. Julius Irving and Bobby Jones leading the way for Philadelphia. Maxwell, Cowens, and Ford for the Celtics. Alley-up to Marvin Barnes. Couldn't get it to go. Here comes Henry Bibby right down the middle. Celtics back well on defense. Ralph Simpson called for a travel, and the ball turns over to the Boston Celtics as we are early in the second period. 10:38 to play in it. Boston leading the game 29-24.
has to be very disconcerting at the Philadelphia end because they have two ball boys on the floor also trying to keep it dry.
I think everybody's apprehensive about hitting that spot in the floor after Jones went down so hard, and the ball boys are keeping those towels on right to the last second, taking them off. Irving's not afraid of it. He goes right to the wet spot, tries to get it up, can't get it to go. Collins rebounds out to Marvin Barnes at 6'9". The big man from Providence feeds off to Nate Archibald, back to Maxwell. Classic Celtic basketball.
Very nice. Marvin Barnes hit Tiny Archibald on the right side, and he went up to take the shot and saw a bunch of arms and trees, so he just dished it off.
Celtics really moving the ball around. All five guys are in the game on offense, and they now have opened up a 31-24 lead. Dawkins way up and right down. Here's a whistle inside. Basket will go. Let's watch that passing again, John.
Here we have Marvin Barnes getting Dawkins up in the air to Archibald, and then he gets two more up in the air off to Maxwell.
We'll be back in a moment at Boston Garden as we have a foul on the play. The Philadelphia 76ers trailing the Boston Celtics 31-26. With John Havlicek, this is Don Criqui back at Boston Garden. Coming up next, following NBA basketball on CBS, live coverage of the Phoenix Open Golf Tournament. Ben Crenshaw is hot today. He has birdied the last 4 holes. We'll be going to Phoenix for coverage of that today, as Julius Irving right now has been the prime mover for the 76ers with 10 points. No free throw. The personal foul prior to it was on Marvin Barnes, his second. A 31-26 game. Boston's in the lead. Celtics have led throughout. Jumped off to an early 4-0 lead and have led all the way. Judkins, a first-year player. Not bashful. Popped it way out. They like Judkins, don't they, John?
They like Judkins very much, and he's a very pure shooter. He shoots extremely well.
From Utah is always around the ball. Very aggressive. Joe Bryant. Marvin Barnes not going to play basketball today. Here's Archibald taking a look inside. Barnes down low. Irving blocked it from behind. No foul. Marvin was going for the stuff, and Julius took a Judkins. Foul on Bibby.
A fantastic block coming up by Julius Irving. Marvin Barnes gets inside position. He comes over top and just out jumps him and bats it away.
They said of Judkins, he's like a young Havlicek, plays with that intensity, which is high praise, but he isn't a very aggressive player.
They're hoping that he can become a swing man. They feel with a little bit more weight and age, he's going to be able to handle both positions.
Daryl Dawkins gets his head up by the rim and gets the rebound, coming down hard and going to the basket is Ralph Simpson. He draws a shooting foul. Judkins fouls him. Caldwell Jones comes back into the game. The 76ers working with Henry Bibby and Joe Bryant. Caldwell Jones. Daryl Dawkins. They got a lot of height in there now. They want to get some more bounds. And Simpson at the free throw line. At Richfield, Ohio, the Chicago Bulls are leading the Cleveland Cavaliers 19-16 in the first period.
I talked to Billy Cunningham before the game, and he was concerned about the fact that the Celtics in last night's game got a lot of easy layups. So he said he might go to the Dawkins-Caldwell-Jones situation. So this is definitely going to help them board-wise.
And he's also got Bryant in there, who's a 6'9".
Yes, and Joe plays just about 3 positions. He can play guard at times and forward. I don't think they've ever used him as a backup, but they might.
Yeah, we had a technical assess now against the Celtics. Marvin Barnes was signaled for the technical foul. That makes it a 33-29 game. The Celtics lead cut to 4. They've led by as many as 9. Just before the end of the first period, they built up a 29-20 lead. It was 29-22 at the end of the quarter. Now 33-29 Boston. Cowens with a lot of muscle against him in Daryl Dawkins. Again, Cowens can't get it to go. Maxwell loses the ball to Henry Bibby. 10 men coming down court on the fly. Joe Bryant from way out gets his own rebound. Nobody blocked him out when he went to the basket. He follows it up. Right now, the Celtics are going to call a timeout as their lead of 9 points not that long ago is down to 2. 33-31 game as you take a look from Boston Garden up by the championship banner. halftime, we'll have an at-home visit with Kevin Greavy, one of the big players last season for the Washington Bullets in their championship year. And a live report from the Phoenix Open. Right now, we have Marvin Barnes looking to the basket. Down low, he guns it to JoJo White, feeds to Cedric Maxwell, and Cordbrad puts it up. Here's the whistle stopping play against Philadelphia.
Cedric's very tough inside, but an interesting thing on that particular play down the floor was Dave Cowens was working at the forward position, and Marvin Barnes is at the center position. Here we have an inside feed to JoJo, who knew he didn't have the shot, off to Max. Max has some funny moves, and he gets a lot of fouls.
Well, they like Maxwell out of North Carolina, Charlotte. Billy Cunningham says if we're going to stop Boston, we've got to shut him off. He gets so many points inside, as you're talking about that long arms and use of his body. At 29 last night, and the Celtics upset of the Sixers at Philadelphia.
He's really carried the Celtics this year, and he's probably been their most consistent player, along with Ford.
Joe Bryant looks inside. Celtics switching off nicely. They shot it off, and here is the rebound again by Marvin Barnes. Missed shot by Dawkins. Lead from White to Maxwell. Dawkins rejects everything. Gave a full rejection to Maxwell, who's looking for a foul call, did not get one. It's got to be a bad feeling, John, to go up in here and see Dawkins about 2 feet higher.
Well, when I went up against Dawkins, I usually passed it off, and Max, he thought he might be able to get one, but no way. Good block.
Curtis Rowe, who has that unorthodox jump shot, almost shoots the ball on his way down, can't get it in. Bibby to Bryant, tipped away by White. It's a 33-31 game, Boston. 76ers will inbound the ball, working with Dawkins, Jones, Bibby, Simpson, and Bryant.
And there you can see the mop-up crew. There are about 5 people trying to keep that spot clear.
Good move to the basket by Simpson. Good rebound and outlet pass by Marvin Barnes. He's got that Wesley Unseld overhand snapshot with 2 hands, getting it down floor. Barnes fading away, not enough there. And the 76ers have the defensive board. They own that play as Bryant takes it through, scores, fouls.
Good ball movement that time. Good outlet, cross-court pass, and easy layup. Let's take a look at it. We have it out to Henry Bibby. Over to Simpson. A good pass to Joe Bryant. Good layup, gets a foul.
The foul is on Curtis Rowe. He now has 2. 14 fouls in the second period on the Celtics, 3 on Philadelphia. Curtis Rowe trying to put a move on the big guy, Dawkins. He's not going anywhere. Holding his ground inside. JoJo White heads to the basket, loops it way up. Looks like Barnes came over the top on Henry Bibby. They'll get Marvin Barnes in his 3rd personal foul. So that stops play with 6:40 to play in the first half. And the Celtics now trailing for the first time in the game, 34-33.
Looks like the move of Dawkins and Caldwell Jones have taken away the Celtics boards inside, and it's been very effective for them. They've moved into the lead now.
Going with a 6'11" in Dawkins, a 7'1" in Caldwell Jones, and a 6'9" in Joe Bryant.
And the Celtics have one of their smaller teams out there right now. Maxwell at 6'7" and Barnes at 6'7".
Philadelphia has outscored Boston 13-4 here in the second period. Barnes clamps down on the ball.
Here you see Jones and Dawkins taking up a lot of room under there. A little reject. Marvin Barnes coming up with the ball here. Deflected by Simpson. Celtic ball.
Chris Ford trying to throw it in from the locker room. He missed it all, and here come the Philadelphia 76ers. Simpson right back the other way. Guys starting to open it up now. Little schoolyard.
That time Curtis Rowe had JoJo White open at the other end of the floor, but he didn't pick his head up and didn't see him. He could have had an easy basket.
Barnes is looking at people inside. Marvin Barnes assisting Maxwell down low.
Maxwell's the person you have to give all your attention to, particularly when he's that close to the ball in the basket, because he can do a lot of things in there, and Barnes made an excellent pass.
Maxwell now has 9 points as Boston ties the game at 35. Now the 76ers take a 2-point lead.
We had a real mismatch that time against Curtis Rowe. Caldwell Jones going up for the jump hook.
So Caldwell Jones gets his first point. JoJo White drills one for Boston. The game is tied at 37. Barnes tips it over. Maxwell gets it, gives it to JoJo White. Not much down court, though, as the 76ers have a couple of big people laying back. Look at that rebound by Dawkins.
He cleared that one up above the rim.
Dave Cowan set to come back into the game now for the Celtics. Dawkins plays a lot of gold around his neck, doesn't he?
He sure does. I hate to get tangled up in all that.
Got a lot of money hanging around that neck. Dawkins and Marvin Barnes. That'd be a good one.
Maxwell being involved, but Marvin trying to take up for Max in there. I think that would be a mismatch too.
I think Marvin might get a couple in now before you saw him.
If it lasted very long, I'd have to go with Dawkins.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, look.
I don't think either are students of the Marcus at Queensbury. Get the high-level view from overhead. Our director here today, Sandy Grossman. Our producer is Perry Smith at Boston Garden. We have 4:29 left to play in the first half. The game is tied 37-37. Curtis Rowe takes a look, heads to the basket. Up he goes. It does not work, but Marvin Barnes follows it through. Basket goes, and there's a foul on the play.
Well, I think we got a goaltending on that play because Richie Power signaled goaltending. Here you'll see a drive to the hoop by Rowe, and Dawkins hits the ball, but he hits the board and the rim, too, so it was a goaltending call.
Goaltending call. So Curtis Rowe is credited with his 7th and 8th points on the field. Look at Dawkins. Got some brothers woofing at each other out there now. Dawkins and Barnes going back and forth. Something's going to happen here, John. It is now a 39-39 game, as you see. 3:55 left to play in the second period. The Celtics and the 76ers heated up like it's a playoff game. NBA on CBS as Curtis Rowe looks to make a driving move and then pulls up for the shot on Dawkins. Barnes firing it up. Body check nicely by Dawkins, and it's an air ball, and here come the 76ers. Henry Bibby, another UCLA player, one of 11 in the NBA. Comes down the floor. Can't get it through, but the ball will come back inbound to Philadelphia. Cowens comes in, and the standing ovation is for Marvin Barnes. 39-39 game as the Celtics look to take the lead. Here comes JoJo White. Maxwell setting up low, working either side of the lane, going back and forth. Cowens coming in and out, trying to pick for him down low against Daryl Dawkins. Cowens to the basket on Dawkins, gets it up, but not down. And Dawkins blocking out, lets Caldwell Jones sweep in for the rebound. Dawkins took Dave Cowens out of rebounding position. Save by Cowens. Lost by Ford, inbounds to Philadelphia. This is a good one, John. And we'll be back at Boston Garden in a moment. There's one of our men, Red McSpaden, up in the high reaches of Boston Garden. Neil McCaffrey, Al Diamond, and Dick Douglas also at the cameras today for CBS as the 76ers take it inside. Bobby Jones now has 10 points, and Philadelphia has the lead, 41-39. Curtis Rowe trying to move, and here comes Cowens, who has been looking for that outside shot, has not been able to get it. Now he knocks it down, and the game is tied at 41. Cowens has 7. Maxwell has 9 for the Boston Celtics. Rowe has 8. Again, Philadelphia gets inside to score. This time it's Doug Collins with his second field goal. 2-point advantage now for the 76ers. Tempo of the game slows down a little bit as it's really getting rough inside. They're banging inside. Lots of collisions. People looking for position. Here comes Maurice Cheeks back in the game. Driving on Maxwell. He's by Maxwell. Driving on Collins. He gets by Collins. And Maurice Cheeks at 6'1" takes it right through for the bucket.
Good move by Maurice Cheeks. He was going on the left side of the basket, reversed to the other side, and got Dave to commit himself. Good play.
Now JoJo White taking a look down low. Darryl Dawkins with 2 big arms to either side of Cowens. Not much there for Cowens to move out. Ford tries to take it to the basket, shooting up on Cheeks. Basket goes, and we have a foul. Chris Ford will go to the free throw line. Let's watch Maurice Cheeks a bit ago taking it down court. In he goes. That put the 76ers in the lead by 2. So right now we have 1:45 left to play. Maurice Cheeks apparently took a rap in the throat. He's all right. He came in the second round, Maurice Cheeks. He was 3 times an All-Missouri Valley Conference player at West Texas State. Only other guy to have that honor accorded him, first team MVP, first team Missouri Valley Conference for 3 years, was Oscar Robertson. Long time ago.
Yes, and he was certainly a great one. Billy feels that Maurice Cheeks can really get them off to a fast start, and then he can come in with Henry Bibby, who has the experience. So it's a good combination. It's worked well for them.
Chris Ford puts the free throw in, and it is now a 45-44 game. 76ers have the lead. Cheeks searching out inside. Lots of movement from the big men at Philadelphia. Jones coming in and out. Bobby Jones, and Caldwell Jones now sets himself. They're giving him that long shot. Bobby Jones heads to the basket. Collins rebounds for the Celtics. Again looks for the outlet. Philadelphia, as they start back up court, does a good job, John, getting out those flanks to cut off the outlet.
Celtics want to run, but you know, Philadelphia's been burned a couple of times, so they're going to be more aware of it.
Collins wants that shot, doesn't he?
He's been getting that shot just about all year, and at this point he hasn't been hitting, but you have to take that shot when you have it.
I think it's going to start to go pretty soon. It has a few times. He has 7. Here's Henry Bibby, who might not have the most ability in the NBA, but there's not too many guys smarter out there.
That's right. He's a real pro. He comes to play every day, and he is a very consistent player.
Doug Collins back in the game, had too much on it. Bobby Jones says, good pass, I should have had it.
Good idea by Collins. He got picked up on the double team, hit the open man. They just weren't able to handle it.
I think Jones was looking for the ball. So now it is 45-44. Didn't think that Collins could get it through to him. 76ers lead by 1 point. That's the amount of time remaining in the first half. 37 seconds to play. Dawkins takes a look down court. He can gun it to full distance with that flick of the overhead hand. Guns it like a catcher. A line drive one into the other. Now Dawkins goes way out. Nice roll off his shot. Good backspin. Doesn't get it down, though, and the ball will come back inbounds to the Philadelphia 76ers with 20 seconds to play. So they'll be looking for the last shot. There it is again. Ball is rejected, and that's when it comes back inbounds to the 76ers. That is the game clock winding down in the lower right-hand portion as the 76ers holding to a 1-point lead. They trail by 7 at the end of the first period. Look for the last shot. Collins puts it up. Didn't go, but he did draw the shooting foul, as you see, with 3 seconds. John?
Doug Collins is probably the quickest guard in the league, or one of the quickest guards, and anytime you have him cleared out in a situation like that, it's very difficult to defend against. That time he went to his right, went behind his back, came back to his left, and drew the foul.
Collins comes into the game averaging just under 22 points a game. Julius Erving averaging just under 24 is the leading scorer for the 76ers this year. Both teams really moving the ball around. Collins with a steal. That's why he is all-pro. Doug Collins with the big play, a steal, a subsequent shot, and a 5-point advantage for the 76ers at the half.
What a great play by Collins, who steals the inbounds pass from Collins. Dave was trying to get it down the floor, put it high off the board for 2 points. Great
Dawkins
play by
comes out
Doug.
of the rafters. He was following the play. So the 76ers turn it around the second period after trailing by 7 at the end of the first quarter. They come back to lead by 5. We're mentioning some of the games last night. Detroit beating Midwest leader Kansas City 122-110. Portland beat the Central leader San Antonio 118-113. And that is how the first half statistics break down. Neither team shooting very well, John, from the floor.
No, and actually in that second period, I think that the combination of Caldwell Jones and Daryl Dawkins had a lot to do with it inside.
That's the scoring as we're back to live action now. Julius Erving and Bobby Jones each with 10 for the 76ers. Chris Ford working against Cheeks, putting it up, getting it down. 3-point game Philadelphia as Chris Ford comes out and hits for Boston.
Got a little bit of a height advantage there, and he took advantage of it. He was cleared out on the right side and just shot over Cheeks.
And Ford now has 10 for Boston. Caldwell Jones can't see anybody free as the Celtics switch off nicely inside to blockade the zone. The lane. Rebound tipped around. And Maxwell starts down the floor with it for Boston. In the game for the Celtics, JoJo White with the ball, Dave Cowens, Cedric Maxwell, Chris Ford, who has the ball, and Curtis Rowe. For the Sixers, Julius Erving, Maurice Cheeks, Doug Collins, Caldwell Jones. Here comes Collins down floor. Bobby Jones also in the game. As Collins pulls up, might get Caldwell Jones coming over the top of Dave Cowens, John.
In the previous play, we have a shot by Philadelphia. Maxwell with the inside position, bats it up in the air and is able to control. Almost stolen by Doug Collins.
They got Bobby Jones on a foul. For a guy that big, he's 6'9". He really can move, can he? Laterally.
He has great quickness, and it's a great advantage. He can guard a small man or a big man.
David Thompson of Denver said the only guy that could stop him was right at Denver last year. Bobby Jones, that was in practice. Now the 76ers come over the ball, look to run. Collins searches out down low, bounce pass to Erving, trailing the play, and Julius Erving goes way up and knocks it down for Philadelphia. And the 76ers now have a 5-point lead, 51-46.
Julius is the type of player I guess you'd rather gamble having him take that type of shot, because when he gets inside, he's really tough. We have JoJo White on a crossover dribble coming to his left. He gets it in there, disturbed a little by Julius. Did not hit the shot.
White with his 6th point now makes it a 3-point game again. Philadelphia's in the lead. The 76ers with the ball. Here is Collins looking inside. Jones positioned to one side of the lane, breaks off. Caldwell Jones on the other side. Bobby Jones and Caldwell Jones to either side. Because we had a 24-second violation coming up. And he didn't get it away in time, apparently. Ball comes back inbounds to Boston. 9:35 to play in the third period. Again, a whistle stops play. 3 guys calling it tight in there, John. Right now, we're going to have a break in the action as the 76ers call a timeout, holding to a 3-point lead. All right, JoJo White set to inbound the ball for Boston. Celtics trailing in the third period by 3 points. 9:30 to play in it. 51-48. Chris Ford, Boston's leading scorer with 10 points, gives off to Curtis Rowe. JoJo White defended by Collins. Here comes Curtis Rowe to the basket, rejected by Caldwell Jones, taken back by Curtis Rowe. Throws up a knuckleball. Collins follows it back up and in a 1-point game.
Give credit to Maxwell on that. He kept it alive so that Collins was able to tip it in.
Julius Erving loops it down low to Caldwell Jones. Players break off. Philadelphia calls it their continuity offense. People keep moving off the ball. And now the basket Bobby Jones with 12 points. 76ers with a 3-point lead. JoJo White. Collins against him. He loses Collins with Curtis Rowe hand blocking. Chris Ford sticks his nose in, charges in, knocks the ball back to Boston. Collins sets up Curtis Rowe for a free shot. Chris Ford steals the inbound pass, and Boston takes the lead 54 to 53.
Good hustle by Chris Ford. That time I think he turned his back, and the man putting the ball inbounds didn't think he was going to be in the play. Turned around and stole the ball.
So Ford, who certainly in his first season fits into that Celtic tradition of digging in the corners, going after loose balls, comes up with a big play. Boston takes back the lead. They've not led since midway in the second period. And now as Maxwell comes down, he draws a foul. Here's the previous play. Watch.
We have the previous play. Chris able to sneak in on Murray's cheeks and lay it in. Bobby Jones probably should have taken a little more time, knowing he was that close.
And a little frustrated by the errant pass, Jones is called for the foul on Maxwell. Now JoJo White guns it up from the corner. Bobby Jones clears for Philadelphia. Sets up the doctor, and Julius Erving now has 14 points, and the 76ers take back the lead by 1. That's how it looks in the third period at Cleveland. Chicago leading 48-47. They're airtight there also. Collins tries to get it to go, and here comes Cheeks, who was a real goer. But he bounced it off one of his shoes, and the ball is back to Boston. John?
The time Maurice Cheeks was ahead of the pack almost. He was ready to make a move by Collins because Dave was running with his back to the play, and it just bounced off his foot. And unfortunately for Philadelphia, they turned the ball over.
Bobby Jones with a good defensive play. He screened Maxwell away from the ball, and it just went out of bounds. Last touch by a Celtic.
Max really didn't have good position. Dave probably should have waited until he was a little more on balance.
So Philadelphia with a 1-point lead, 55-54. 6:55 to play, third period. Collins fires. And now the penalty's in effect already.
Here we have a shot taken by Doug Collins, getting Collins up in the air. Off the board, Bobby Jones climbing over Maxwell's back. Foul on Bobby Jones.
This is Don Criqui with John Havlicek back at Boston Garden just before we broke. Foul on Bobby Jones, his third of the period for Philadelphia. Both teams. Philadelphia's over the limit now with 5, and Maxwell's at the free throw line for the Celtics. He has 10 points now. And the game is once again tied, John.
With a penalty situation right now, 6 minutes and 50 seconds to go. It's in the favor of the Boston Celtics.
Doug Collins goes up and knocks it down, and Collins gives the 76ers a 2-point lead. Here's Curtis Rowe. Back outside of JoJo White. What was an all-out track meet through the first period has now settled down into a pattern game down low. They're not running unless they get the big overmatch off the board. Collins push to get the rebound. Dave Collins gets his second personal foul. Loose ball foul, no shot. That's the 4th team foul of the period against Boston.
We have Marvin Barnes in the game, who gave them a little spurt early in that second quarter. Jones, who doesn't take much other than inside shots and layups, gets a free shot and now has 14 points. Comes in averaging 10-6 a game for the 76ers. That gives Philadelphia a 4-point lead, 59-54. Collins takes a look. Here's the captain of the Celtics, JoJo White, heading to the basket. Back to the player coach. Boston really moving that ball around. And now the 76ers will have the penalty shot going for them as we have a personal foul called. That time the 76ers played very good defense. There were only 3 seconds left on the clock. Cheeks got a little anxious, got his hand in there and hacked Chris Ford.
Ford now has 13 points as he cuts the Philadelphia lead to 3 points. Cheeks goes out of the game. Henry Bibby comes in.
One shot. One.
Caldwell Jones, Bobby Jones, Julius Erving, Doug Collins, Henry Bibby on the playing floor for the 76ers. Chris Ford to the free throw line with 14 points. Makes it a 2-point game, Philadelphia. Maxwell, Barnes, Ford, Cowens, and White in the game for Boston. Cowens working hard. Defensive board, overmatch 3-on-2. Chris Ford pulling up from 15 feet away. Kept up by Barnes, put back up by Maxwell. And lots of guys hit on him, but Maxwell will go to the free throw line in the penalty with 3 chances to make 2. John?
JoJo White ran the break perfectly that time. He came up the center, stopped at the free throw line, was able to hit Chris Ford on the side. Maxwell had inside position, but give credit to Marvin Barnes, who was able to keep that ball alive.
Bobby Jones was called for the personal foul. It's his 4th of this 3rd period. We have 5:22 to play in it. Now the penalty shot for Maxwell. Maxwell looking for his 12th point of the game. He has a season high this year of 35. He's averaging 18 a game, and we're locked up again, this time at 59. 5:15 to go, 3rd period. 76ers in red with the ball. Last night at the Spectrum in Philadelphia, Boston with its most important win of the season, beating favored Philadelphia 108 to 102. And here come the Celtics now looking to break the tie. JoJo White to the basket, and Boston takes the lead.
JoJo White on a real good move. Bobby Jones, knowing he has 4 fouls, really couldn't play him as tough as he wanted to.
White now with 8 points, and Boston is back in the lead by 2. Caldwell Jones looking low. Here is Erving pulling up 18 feet away, and he gets the roll, and Julius Erving now comes up with 16 points.
Here we have JoJo White on that last play down the floor. Bobby Jones defending. He has 4 fouls. JoJo cuts to the inside, lays it up for 2.
The winningest team in the NBA, the Washington Bullets, won again last night, beat Indiana 109 to 104. Here comes Philadelphia. They throw it away. They get it back. Bibby with a 3-on-2 break. Cowens is back. Collins gets the ball, and Cowens stays right with him. But Doug Collins loses. Dave Cowens gets the bucket, and now the 76ers almost intercept again, but it's tapped away, and it'll be inbound with JoJo White bringing it in.
Here we have Doug Collins on a move, using Dave Cowens as a post, hooking around for a good basket. He has great control of his feet. He's probably got the quickest feet in the NBA.
Doug Collins now at 12 points as Cowens again goes for that long shot. This time he gets the roll at the Boston Garden, comes back shaking his head. It's about time, says the big redhead.
Dave's been a little short, and I think that comes from your legs being a little tired. He's been working awful hard in there.
Julius Erving goes up. Cowens challenges him, stops the shot from going in, but there's a foul, and Julius Erving now has 3 chances to make 2.
We have a shot taken, and the ball battled for, tipped over to Erving. Erving going in, good body control, and Cowens coming in on the foul.
Tell you, John, we've got some guys playing hard out there today.
This is the second half of the season, and I think once you get to this point, it's pretty close to the end, and you want to try and make those playoffs. Of course, Philadelphia will be in it, but Boston, they have a slim chance, but maybe they can turn it around the second half.
Seattle beat Chicago last night 107-101. Denver beat Golden State 109 to 106. Atlanta over New Orleans 118 to 94. The Doctor now with 18 points for the 76ers, and again they have the 2-point lead, 65 to 63. As time starts to wind down in the 3rd period, 3.5 minutes to play in it. Marvin Barnes loses the ball, takes it back from Erving, and quickly feeds to Maxwell, who draws a shooting foul. He put Caldwell Jones in the air. Jones came down on him, and the penalty's in effect.
Here we have that play again. Julius Erving stealing it momentarily. Barnes coming up with it, passing over to Maxwell. Max switched hands on that and put it up with his left. Was able to draw the foul. Maxwell
hitting the free throw now for the Celtics. John, I haven't seen Barnes pass this well in a long time. He's really hitting guys.
He's really a good passer. I think that some of the instinctive moves that he makes are very, very good.
A very sure passer. He throws a hard pass, but he releases it right away. He knows where he wants to go with the ball. Here's Julius Erving moving against Marvin Barnes. Bobby Jones with the offensive rebound and fires it right back up. A big play off the offensive board by Jones to give the 76ers a 2-point lead, 67-65. Archibald baseline for the Celtics. Feeds to Cowens. Last touch by Cowens to the dismay of Dave Cowens. It's coming inbounds to Philadelphia. Let's watch that last basket by the 76ers. Bobby Jones.
So we have Julius Erving inside making a good move, not being able to use the board as he wanted. Bobby Jones again with the left hand doing very well.
Good control. Now back to live action. The 76ers have the ball on a 2-point lead, 67-65. Collins with the offensive board, tipped over to Chris Ford. Here comes Boston looking to tie the game with 2:40 to play in the third period. Collins sets up high. Ford working off him. Collins stays with him. Now they go to Archibald looking to penetrate. Feeds to Cowens. Marvin Barnes with the offensive board. Gives to Archibald. Nothing working, and Dawkins in the game loses it. Has it tipped away, and here's a foul call on Dawkins, who gave a hip to Nate Archibald. Coach Cunningham starting to heat up too.
That last sequence, Archibald putting the ball up, is not being held by anyone there. Dawkins gets it off to Barnes, who bats it away, and then Archibald trying to retrieve it. Dawkins knocks him out of bounds for a foul.
The biggest draw in basketball. Julius Erving of the 76ers takes a rest now as Nate Archibald's at the free throw line for the Celtics. Both teams over the foul limit here in the third period. 2:17 to play in it. With John Havlicek, this is Don Criqui of the Boston Garden. The Celtics trailing 67-65. And Nate can't either to go, so the Celtics lose a chance to tie it up. And Philadelphia has the ball back. We've had 12 lead changes in the game, and there have been 9 ties. Traveling violation called against the 76ers in Boston again. John Havlicek has a chance to tie it.
Well, Bibby tried to cross over that time and got tangled up. Had a little walking on the play. Here we have Cowens outside with him.
Dawkins with a good move inside. Slaps away the pass, tips it to Henry Bibby, and Philadelphia pushes it quickly down the floor. Joe Bryant in the game. Julius Erving said last year they criticized us for not having enough teamwork. This year they criticize us for having too much. Says you only win if you win. They've been doing that. 76ers with the third best record in the league behind Washington and Seattle. Ford, home run ball. And a great play by Henry Bibby, who gave a little hip, I think, to Nate Archibald. Nobody saw it.
Well, they got their feet tangled up a little bit. I don't think it was intentional. It's just one of those things that happened.
So the ball turns over to the 76ers. They hold a 2-point lead with 1:20 to play in the third period. 67-65. Julius Erving, the top point producer for Philadelphia with 18. Bobby Jones has 16. Doug Collins has 12. Dawkins has 6. Simpson and Bryant with 5 each. Top point man for the Celtics, Maxwell with 14 and Ford with 14. Jones following it back in. Bobby Jones.
Bobby Jones being very effective on the offensive boards. And as a coach, they always say, don't let that man get the ball. Make sure your man doesn't get it.
Now a couple of new people coming off the Boston bench. Barker's going to come in along with Judkins. Joe Bryant calling out a play. Bibby's going to set it up. They loop it down low to Dawkins, and he's looking for the basket. No bucket. Called for a travel, turning down the baseline.
Looked like a pretty good move that time, but he got a little extra step in there. But it was a pretty move to the baseline. He took about 3 shots outside, couldn't get anything to go down. That time he made a pretty good move, but was disallowed because of traveling.
Darryl Dawkins would be what, a junior in college, I guess, John, if he went to college.
Well, he might be a senior this year.
Senior, I guess. Yeah, it's 4th year. Here's Judkins heading right in. A Good move, but no basket. It didn't roll for him, and the ball is over to Philadelphia. Here's Collins, lead to Bryant. What is that? He got it away before the buzzer sounded. It didn't go down. And so the Philadelphia 76ers open up a 4-point lead. Not much as we end 3 periods of play here at Boston Garden. We'll be back with the final 12 minutes in a moment. Barker, a new acquisition, and Frankie Sanders, another, are in the game for the Boston Celtics. They made 5-player deals in 5 days last week. No starters in the game to open the 4th period for Boston as Bibby comes down court, takes a shot. It was partially blocked, and so was Henry Bibby. Tom Barker comes in. What do you know about him, John?
Well, he's from the University of Hawaii. He played in Atlanta, I believe, in 1966 and had a tryout this year and played 1 minute against the Celtics in Houston. So he's been shuttling back and forth in the NBA and the Eastern League.
Frankie Sanders, a 6'5" swingman.
He was the number 1 draft choice of the San Antonio Spurs this year, and they're looking to have him really fill that wing on the break.
Judkins gets it low to Barker, turns and banks it down. So Barker comes right in, hits his first shot, gets the Celtics right back in it. They trail by 3, 70-67. People crashing and bumping into each other down low. Bryant lost the ball, but a Celtic was last to touch it, so it comes inbounds to the Sixers. Remind you to be sure and stay tuned for the MVP award at the conclusion of the game. Bibby gets the shot outside, and Philadelphia annexes now a 72-67 lead.
Philadelphia now has that real big lineup in there with Caldwell Jones and Daryl Dawkins. Real good move by Tiny Archibald that time, putting it over the big fella.
Vintage Nate the Skate there, sliding in, spinning, turning, getting it off the backboard. It's again a 3-point game as Bibby tries to lose Archibald with a behind-the-back dribble. Caldwell Jones fires, and they give him a shot coming across the middle, and he capitalizes. Gives the 76ers the 74-69 lead. Caldwell Jones with only 4 points. The lowest scoring starting center in the NBA, but he gives this team an awful lot from rebounds. No charge. Judkins was down there. Jones gets his 6th point now. We're going to have a timeout called by the Boston Celtics with the 76ers in the lead, 76-69.
We have Tiny Archibald on the move with the dribble, going toward the hoop, doing a little hoop-de-doo there, getting the spin on the ball into the hoop. Real good play by Archibald.
Alive in the 4th period now at Boston Garden. The 76ers have their biggest lead of the game, 76-69. They led by 4 at the end of 3 periods. JoJo White comes back in as the Celtics get some starting players in. Here's Marvin Barnes feeding back over to Judkins. JoJo White cocks that wrist but can't get the shot down again. Dawkins with his head up by the rim sweeps down the defensive rebound for Philadelphia.
Celtics may have waited a little too long because now they have their veterans in there, but the young group without much experience got Philadelphia their biggest lead of the game.
4-point game at Cleveland. Chicago and Cleveland locked in a tight one there. Rebound comes down to Cowens. Outlet to JoJo White. And men go to the floor. The biggest guy out there, Dawkins, hit the deck hard, and there's a whistle that stops play.
We had Jeff Judkins getting down the floor on the break, and Daryl trying to catch up with him. They've got their feet tangled up, and the foul on Daryl that time.
Dave Cowens down low to Maxwell, and he gets it over the defense, but not enough to get it down. Judkins puts it back up. It would have gone had he gotten the roll. He will go up now to shoot 2 shots.
A lot of guards who get underneath the basket sometimes really don't familiarize themselves with blocking out on every play. And here you see Doug not knowing where his man is. Judkins able to get in, get the ball with an up fake, drawing the foul.
Dawkins brings the Celtics back to within 5, 76-71. We're in the fourth period, 9:25 to play. Bibby takes a look low, loops it to Dawkins, pushes away Collins, and starts to move on him. Here's a whistle. They're going to get the redhead.
Things are starting to heat up a little bit between those two because Dawkins sort of held him off with one arm, and Dave didn't like it, got caught on the retaliation.
Fourth foul on Dave Collins. There are 4 team fouls on the Sixers in the fourth period, 3 on the Celtics. Collins, nothing open in the lane, gets it right back outside of Dawkins. Henry Bibby, just in time, gets it down before the shot clock winds out. And again, the 76ers extend their lead to 7 points, 78-71. Marvin Barnes working hard against Bryant. Here comes Judkins, puts it up over Dawkins. The foul call is going to go against the Celtics.
Judkins that time on the drive, pushed off a little bit, put his arm up in the air and cleared the path. Here we see it again on the drive. Watch his arm. He gets it into Dawkins, trying to fend him off. Offensive foul.
Blocked by Maxwell. Here comes White. Caldwell Jones against him. Followed up by Judkins. Now they're ruling that the Celtics touched the ball while it was on the rim. Offensive interference, and the shot is negated. No basket.
Here we have JoJo White on the drive, trying to use the basket as a shield. They tapped the ball while it was on the rim. You cannot do that. Good call by the official.
So with Bob McKinnon and K.C. Jones looking on, the 2 Celtic assistant coaches, the Philadelphia 76ers hold to their 7-point lead. 78-71. 8-12 play in the game. Not enough there. But the rebound is taken down by Joe Bryant. This is the tall lineup that Philadelphia used in the second period to rally into the lead.
That's right. And Julius Erving, who's had a pretty good game with 18 points, has had a lot of rest. So if it gets tight, they can come back with him, and he's ready.
That's right. The big guy, the big scorer for Philadelphia, is not even in the game right now. Dawkins with the rebound. Up court to Bibby. Henry Bibby weaving down, feeds to Collins off the baseline, up to Joe Bryant, blocked by Maxwell. Outlet to JoJo White. Boy, the 76ers are doing a big job. There is just nothing in that lane. Once the Celtics get in close, there's nothing but big people standing in there.
They're getting one shot, and that's it. And that's what the big line
is. That is all. One shot here is Caldwell Jones pulling up for a 5-foot shot. And Philadelphia now has opened up an 11-point lead, the biggest of the game, 82-71. And the Celtics call a timeout. We have 7:18 left to play in the game. We'll be back at Boston Garden in a moment. With John Havlicek, this is Don Criqui back at Boston Garden. We're in the fourth period. Celtics trailing the 76ers 82-71. Philadelphia's biggest lead has been a close game until just moments ago, and Philadelphia playing excellent basketball. The defensive end held Boston to one shot and then took it down and scored consistently. Now Collins goes backdoor and gets free. 13 points for the player coach of the Celtics. It's a 9-point game, Philadelphia. John, you played so many pressure games here at Boston Garden. I think fans would often admire the way you reacted under pressure. Did it actually bother you inside? Were you worked up? You seemed so calm in all those big games.
Well, actually, I just tried to prepare myself to not get excited. And I think this is one of the things that a player will try to do, because if you get caught up in the reaction, you can go haywire.
How would you prepare yourself not to get excited?
Well, I think that in doing something like that, you more or less learn it from some of the people you play with. And I had great teachers, Frank Ramsey, Bill Russell, Sam Jones, and individuals like that.
You were on 8 championship teams with the Celtics. Whoa, JoJo White whacking at the ball, almost knocked it in for the 76ers. Still time left for the Celtics to get back in at 6 minutes to go. Here's a foul call inside on Caldwell Jones of the 76ers. Maxwell puts the move on. Caldwell Jones has his 4th foul. 3 team fouls in Philadelphia.
Here we have JoJo on the drive, running into Dawkins, knowing he doesn't have anything. An under-the-arm feed into Maxwell, who again uses that gangly body to draw the foul. Celtics are going to have to start to apply a little pressure because there's 6 minutes to go. They're down. They have to get back into this game. Now's the time to probably do it because Philadelphia has the big front line in there, and you might be able to pressure them all over the floor.
Maxwell now has scored 16 points for the Celtics. They cut the Philadelphia lead to 7. Boston led early in the game, had a 7-point lead at the end of the first period, fell behind by 4 at the half. Darryl Dawkins says the shot clock winds down. There's some pushing inside. We're going to get a call against the 76ers. Apparently against Caldwell Jones. Mike Mathis whistles him. That's 5 on Jones, and Julius Erving's coming back in for Philadelphia. The doctor comes in. He leads the way in scoring with 18 points. Bobby Jones with 18 also. Collins has 12 for the 76ers. Chicago now holding to a 3-point lead over Cleveland in the fourth period.
Come on.
Curtis Rowe goes low to Maxwell. He was the last to touch it, back inbounds to the red team, the 76ers.
Good inside defensive position by Joe Bryant, which was allowed to cause Maxwell trouble and also cause Rowe a little trouble in that play.
Ralph Simpson to the basket. Almost a goaltend on Cowens as he tried to knock it away. Here comes Chris Ford up court for the Boston Celtics. 5:10 to play. They're letting Curtis Rowe take the shot if he wants it from way out. Chris Ford drives to the basket, gives it to Maxwell. Nicely done.
Good play by Ford. That time I thought he was going to take the shot and knew he couldn't get it up there because Dawkins is standing in the way. Dished it off. Was able to get a good play.
So Boston, with 6 unanswered points, rallies back from an 11-point deficit. They are now down by 5, and the 76ers want a timeout. We'll be back at Boston Garden after this brief message. Philadelphia's at Portland. Consult your local listings for the game and time in your area. And, of course, the All-Star game coming up on Sunday, February 4th. Julius Erving hits a big one, and again, just before the shot clock expired.
He's made about 4 or 5 from that particular spot today, but you have to respect him so much because he has that great ability to go to the hoop.
84-77 Philadelphia. Cowens fires it to the basket. Dawkins rejects him. Cowens fires again and knocks it down. He was having trouble getting that shot earlier, but now he hits it from over 20 feet away. He has 15 points, and the Boston Celtics are back to within 5. As the 76ers now looking to run down the game clock using that full shot clock allowed of them. 24 seconds. Collins lost the ball. Boston gets it back, and the Celtics can come to within 3. What do you do here, John? Just work quickly for the shot.
Well, you have to attempt to get a good shot, and actually they might try and go inside to pick up a foul with Cornbread Maxwell.
JoJo White pulls up and drills it, and the Boston Celtics, down by 11, are now back to within 3, 84-81. JoJo White, the current captain of the Celtics, with 10 points. Pulls up, and Julius Erving again with an excellent shooting percentage today. Fires from the outside. He leads all scorers with 22. He gives the 76ers the 5-point lead. So Erving with a couple of big hoops keeps Philadelphia with that lead. Down low to Maxwell. Rejected by Julius Erving, right to Doug Collins. Collins, instead of breaking, brings it up, winds the clock down. 2:58 to play in the game.
Great play by Julius Erving. He hit the last hoop for the 76ers, came down and got a real good key block.
Going to go back the other way. The foul calls against Philadelphia.
Julius on the move to the center that time, sort of used that off arm to clear the way.
That's who they got. That was his 3rd, John. Julius Erving with 3 personal fouls. We have 3 team fouls against the Philadelphia 76ers, just 2 against Boston here in the 4th period. Chris Ford. Big play. Dawkins went up a little early as Ford gave him a head fake. And as you see, it is again a 3-point game, Philadelphia. Bibby on the outside as Jones breaks off low, looking for a play to work. They get it down low with 12 seconds on the shot clock. Running the game down, Julius Erving goes up, and there's going to be a call against Curtis Rowe of Boston.
We have Chris Ford driving. Daryl Dawkins giving him a little problem. He had to go up for the jump hook, and he put it down.
2:14 left to play in the game. Erving, who controls the ball as well as any guy with a dribble, can't get the shot down this time. And here comes Boston. Bobby Jones intercepts the pass. What a defensive play by Jones. As the 76ers get it back, and Collins, all pro that he is, comes back and fires, pull it up for the 15-foot shot. Big play by Jones. Subsequent hit by Doug Collins, and again, the 76ers have the 5-point lead.
76ers have their most experienced unit in there, and it's paying off for them right now.
Maxwell fights to the basket. Amazing ability to get the ball up over taller people. Maxwell now has 20 for Boston. 1:36 left to play. That is the game clock winding down the lower portion of your screen. The 76ers holding to a 3-point lead. Bibby to Julius Erving, game's leading scorer with 22. Dawkins looks. Shot clock down to 3. He forces the shot. And the rebound to Maxwell. JoJo White comes down the floor as the Celtics set it up. Curtis Rowe gets a free one. Maxwell with the offensive board. It's taken away, ripped away by the big man. Dawkins then guns it out to Collins. Game clock down inside a minute. 55 seconds. Chris Ford goes for the ball, but Henry Bibby outruns him to it. Now Bibby will set it up again. Here is Bobby Jones driving baseline. Foul call on Boston. And as you see, 46 seconds left to play. So right now the 76ers are going to call a timeout. The doctor looks on impassively, but it's a red-hot game as we head down into the final seconds now. 46 seconds to play. 76ers lead by 3. Bobby Jones can't get the first one to go. Both teams are under the limit. A big hit for the 76ers, a 4-point lead for Philadelphia. Boston quickly calls a timeout. There's still time, though, John.
There's still time, and actually there are 46 seconds to go. They're going to have to come up with a situation where they take a quick shot, hoping they can get another one toward the end of the period. And I think that Caldwell Jones has now added the defensive rebounding that they need.
A big hit for the 76ers, a 4-point lead for Philadelphia. Boston quickly calls a timeout. There's still time, though, John.
There's still time, and actually there are 46 seconds to go. They're going to have to come up with a situation where they take a quick shot, hoping they can get another one toward the end of the period. And I think that Caldwell Jones has now added the defensive rebounding that they need.
Boston's always been famous, John Havlicek, for those inbounds plays, people lining up. A lot of things you can do off it.
Yes, there's a lot of open space to go to, and they might try a couple of back picks here.
There's an important guy, too. The guy runs the clock, and he's right with it as the Celtics inbound the ball. Maxwell with it. Howard's breaking low, way up for it. Feeds it out to JoJo White. He's got a tough defender to put it up over, but he gets him in the air. Dawkins couldn't get the ball, but the rebound is down to Doug Collins with 30 seconds to play in the game. Collins streaking down the court, playing an outstanding game for the Philadelphia 76ers. He goes over now cross court to Bibby. 19 seconds left to go. Philadelphia by 4. The big man Dawkins heads to the hoop, feeds off to Jones. And a foul call on the play. Chris Ford had to give a foul. Bobby Jones goes to the free throw line as the penalty is now in effect for the Philadelphia free throw shooters. John, your vote, please, for the most valuable.
I'm going to go with Julius Erving because I thought his offense kept him in the game, and he really didn't play that much. I think that if they probably would have played him more, they may have had a bigger lead at one point.
Well, I'm going to go with Bobby Jones at the free throw line. He came down and made that big steal when the 76ers could have lost their lead. Boston coming up to tie it. He turned it into a basket when Collins came down and hit. Jones now has 20 points, shooting for 21. His overall floor game is so good. So my pick is Jones. We'll have to wait for our producer, Perry Smith, to see who gets Witt School, University of Massachusetts or the University of North Carolina, gets the $1,000 scholarship. Ford takes it inside, but it might be too late. 91-87, just 6 seconds left up court to be, and the 76ers are going to win the game after losing last night on their home floor to Boston. Philadelphia comes back to the Boston Garden. And the vote from Perry Smith is for Julius Erving, so our Chevrolet MVP is Julius Erving of the 76ers, and a $1,000 scholarship fund goes to the University of Massachusetts on his behalf. I tell you, the home court didn't hold up much this weekend, did it, John?
No, it didn't, and I feel that the Celtics probably played their 3 best games of the season Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Maybe they're going to turn it around. Toward the last play of the game, they tried to work something that they had worked earlier on an alley-oop to Callens, and Philadelphia had it sniffed out, and they played it very well.